right. Well, hey, welcome into Rock Down Detroit Lions breaking news edition. So while we were live doing our off the cuff podcast between 8 and 10 p.m. tonight, Cameron Sutton has turned himself in finally. From what I understand, the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was notified on March 25th through Sutton's attorney that they informed the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department that he was going to be turning himself into authorities, which happened tonight. So all of this has been happening over the last 30 minutes, and I'm going to try to wait for some additional people to pop into the show tonight, and we are going to do the Cameron Sutton perp walk live. This is not the information or the news that we like to share about the Detroit Lions or former Detroit Lions, but this has been a hot item, and a lot of Detroit Lions fans have paid attention to this, and so now we're going to do it live here and show you, after weeks of evading. This is a statement by Sheriff Chad Chronister that after weeks of evading law enforcement, this man has finally made the right choice to turn himself in. Domestic violence has no place in our community, and no one is above the law here in Hillsborough County. My thoughts are with this woman as she continues to heal from this man's gruesome actions. Direct quote from Sheriff Chad Chronister. All right, I see we've got more than 25 people in. Let me go ahead and queue up the perp walk here of Cameron Sutton. Recently turned himself in tonight, and he is now arrested. And here we go. We will play the video for you here live. Man, this is just unreal, isn't it? Oh, that was quick. Jeez. It's sad, but being a millionaire or not, you are a nobody the minute you enter a jail. And it just goes to show that if you can't follow the laws or, be a decent human being in life, this is what happens. And it's really unfortunate. And, I really don't know how much more I really want to focus on the negativity, because this Lion season means so much to so many of us. And this was the stain so far on the season, was having to talk about negativity surrounding the Detroit Lions. And this far exceeds anything that I ever would have expected, especially in a situation where the culture surrounding this team is so good. Cam made a devastating decision, supposedly or allegedly. We'll find out the details as they come out. Again, I don't know how much more I'm going to spend, talking about this thing, because it is so negative. And to your guys' points in here, yeah, it is pitiful. It's sad. And at least he was still alive. That was one of the biggest questions that we had, was he okay? And I think that question was answered when we found out that he was in fact working out in Allen Park. And when the warrant was released, he was working out in Allen Park. And then, he was notified by Rod Wood, not personally, but the conversation was, go ahead, turn yourself in and get an attorney. And Sean Rounds, yes, always innocent until proven guilty. I do believe that. I think that, there's a place for that everywhere in this country underneath the Constitution that we should, live through and abide by. It's been a weird place over the last many years where that hasn't existed. But in every case, you should be innocent until proven guilty. But unfortunately, in the public court of opinion, this man has already done way too much wrong. And that will never change in some people's minds. And even if he somehow is not convicted of anything, he will always be guilty in people's minds. And his career in the NFL is more than likely all but done. I can't imagine that he makes his way back to the NFL after something like this, unless some crazy bombshell is released where, he wasn't even there and wasn't a part of it. But I can't imagine that that's going to come out, but we'll let the law do what they do and figure it out. I at least wanted to share with you guys tonight. And thank you to everybody in the chat during the live stream tonight for letting me know that Cameron Sutton was finally arrested, and now he will be arraigned. Obviously, his attorney is involved. So this is going to be probably a fairly quick moving subject, over the next coming weeks with Cameron Sutton and what turns out to be a career ender, for him, more than likely. But again, to all the alleged victims, our heart and thoughts and, prayers are with you. You don't ever want to see somebody go through something like this. We don't even know who the victim really is. I mean, they've speculated that it was Cam's girlfriend, or somebody that he had child in common with, or at least there was a paternity issue at large, or still happening between him and some female. But we'll find out the details, as everybody will, in the coming days. We'll see what happens, but we can now close this chapter. It is over. We can close it. Cam is arrested. He's okay. Now it's time for all parties involved to start their process of healing, however long that takes, if it ever happens. In a lot of cases, it doesn't. So it's done. Now we can move on to bigger and better things, which is the NFL draft, and continue on to, enjoy Lions content the way that it is supposed to be enjoyed. And it's, let's have good, fun conversations. Let's close this book and move forward. Of course, we will report anything that pops out, that's important. But yeah, so J-Rod, Cam turned himself in all of a sudden. Oh, I see what you did there. Oh, that would have been a great thumbnail, J-Rod. Where were you? Where were you when I was making my thumbnail? That's funny. Of course, I did it all in like 30 seconds. I was trying to get something out there to get this shared with everybody. Irvish Shah says, I'm sure another team will hire him next year. I don't know, man. I think that the NFL is going to take a hard stance on this. I really do. I hope they do. If he's guilty, okay, because right now it's all alleged. It's been reported by multiple sources, but the thing we have to keep in the back of our mind is everything is alleged until it's not. And it won't be when a judge decides to, put his gavel down and make a decision. Sean Rounds, appreciate your compliment, man. Hey, so on to, and J Mommy, you said I'd like to know more about his blackouts. Yeah. I'd like to know more about it too, and how the NFL didn't know or didn't do anything about it. I think that should have some sort of a microscope underneath it. I'm not saying the Lions did anything wrong. Did they even know? I mean, how did nobody know about that? And was that a reason, for this alleged incident to happen? And again, it doesn't excuse anything, but if you can imagine, a blackout being, if you have too many drinks and you black out, there's a lot of people that don't know anything that happened, and they could do things for hours and never know. I've heard crazy stories of people driving for hours and just wake up in a different state, unharmed. Don't know how they got there, but it's because they drank too much. So Brian says we need to wait until how things shake out before I would say he'll be with another team. There have been a few times that allegations have turned out to be false. It's true. Very, very true. We'll see what happens. But so on about tonight, we had a great guest on tonight, Matthew Soltesiak. I'm interested to know, what you guys thought about tonight's lineup and content on the 8 to 10 show tonight on Rock Down Detroit Lions Off the Cuff podcast. We had interesting conversation, and man, we barely got to 3 of the topics that I had. I had like 12 topics, and we barely got through 3 in 2 hours. That's how good the conversation was. I felt tonight. I thought it was really good. And I'd love to know how you guys felt about it. If that's more of the type of show that you like to have once a week, so that we can give you that style of content. Like I said, I wanted to get to more of the Lions legends through the rest of April, because it's good filler content, but it also, it educates the new fans and even myself. I mean, when I dug into Lions legends, I learned a lot about the past. Now, I was born in 80, right? First game in 84, but like Matthew said tonight, you really don't remember a whole lot until you're a little older. So remembering, some of the games that I watched with my dad or my grandfather or whatever, that's those memories really don't kick in until you're a little bit older. So learning about the past, I think is a fun way to celebrate the future of the Detroit Lions. And right now, that's what I'm looking forward to, is, looking forward to what's on deck for our future. And we can close this chapter on Cam Sutton for now and wait to hear how it turns out. But so Lions legends. I wrote a lot of articles. So last year I wrote a lot, and I started filling my website up. And then, as I had less and less time and I couldn't find writers, I had to pick podcast or writing. And then what ended up happening is I wrote for the podcast, so I turned it into an article. I still write for the podcast. I just don't have all the time to turn it into, a hard article that, is highly edited and everything else. So I need people. I need people to join Rocked On Podcast Network and help create more content. So, appreciate that, Irvis Shah. You have the best Lion show in town. We always wait for it, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. Tracy says it gives another perspective. Absolutely. Uperlight says, I have a ton of topics ready for Rise and Grind. My notebook is filling up. Cool, man. Let's chat on that tomorrow so we can marry up a little show sheet in the morning for the morning show. All right. Well, hey, I just wanted to pop on again. I've already been on for over 2 hours tonight. I just wanted to bring you guys the Cam Sutton perp walk. So if you go back to the beginning of tonight's show, or tonight's live breaking news, there was the live walk-in from when Cam Sutton entered the jail and was booked. Interesting that Hillsborough County puts out that stuff, but I'm not surprised. That's just the age that we live in now. Everything is digital. Everything is for sale. Everything is online. And it is what it is. So, all right, you guys, appreciate you as always. We'll get back at it tomorrow night. We've got Off the Cuff tomorrow night, extra giveaways, new giveaways starting, and then Rise and Grind morning show on Tuesday morning. Eric Rintamaki will be joining us. We're going to be starting a little bit early, but remember, it's only at Rocked On Syndicate. If you guys have not subscribed, you will not see the show on this channel, but there it is in the bottom, at Rocked On Syndicate. Head over to that on YouTube, subscribe, and it will be there. Now, it will also be broadcast to other Twitters and things of that nature, but it will not be on other YouTubes. My goal is to start a morning show that is dedicated to one channel and build it out. And we'll keep doing that. So anyway, appreciate you guys. Go subscribe to Rocked On Syndicate. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 p.m. And then I'll kick out another safety video tomorrow before we go live. All right, you guys, take care. Go One Pride, go Detroit Lions. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.